You're listening to the Mobcast Network.
Welcome to the Cult Movie Cantina.
So quiet.
I know, right?
So
Try something
soft-spoken.
different.
Okay.
Just something. It's a very intimate show. It's only me and you.
It is very intimate. I feel like we should be sitting around a fire with like coffee cups.
That would be wonderful.
Saucers.
It's too hot for. I
like
cannot
legit
wait.
coffee cup. You can put whatever you want in the coffee cup.
Right, but I cannot wait for like bonfire weather.
Oh yeah, I always look forward to bonfire weather.
We may have to find a bonfire and do a bonfire podcast.
Yes, please.
That may have to happen. Anyway, welcome to the Cult Movie Cantina. This podcast takes a look at our favorite cult films, introduces them to someone who hasn't seen them,
Me?
pairs them with great alcohol beverages. She's not here.
She's not. That's
And then
sad.
talk about it. This week is cult meeting, and so we recap the last episode and talk about other stuff and introduce you to what we'll be watching next. I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty.
I am Jestina, the Jellicle Jester.
And she who knows no movies.
Fine. Admiral, she who knows no movies.
See, it's fun. It's
okay.
fun.
Okay.
How was your weekend?
So, I went to the beach this weekend.
Nice.
I did. Megan is in town.
Oh, wonderful. I like
And
Megan.
she got a condo on the beach. And I got really intoxicated Sunday and fought a pier. I did win.
How-
But it tried to kill me. Okay, so I went swimming and hit a point. What was I trying to get my glasses? And Derby Wife's here. And Derby Wife's like, I'll hand them to you. I was like, no,
Everyone's
I
always
got it.
here. I think the audience
Yeah.
knows that.
Like, if I'm ever just asking a question that's never answered, it's Derby Wife. But I was like, no, I can get out and get them myself. So I decided to battle the upper body strength to pull myself onto the pier from the water where I can't touch.
Right.
Yeah. There were barnacles on the pier
Mm-hmm.
that she was like, hey, look out for the barnacles. It's like, I'm not touching them. It's fine. I'm using my arms.
I'm not touching them. I'm not touching them.
So like I ended up cutting my right ankle, and that was
Oh,
like when I
poor
got out of the water,
thing.
it was just bleeding. It was really bad down my foot,
Oh.
and I sliced up the whole bottom of my left foot.
Gotta watch out
and
for
I
that
have
flesh-eating bacteria now.
Bruises all over my
Because
arms.
that water is infested with flesh-eating bacteria.
I'm gonna show you.
No, I don't
later.
need. No, I don't need to see it.
No, I'm not showing you my feet. I'm gonna show you my bruises.
Why?
They're really pretty. I'm gonna show you.
That's
Not
weird.
right now because I don't
That's
feel like
weird.
taking off my jacket yet.
That's
but
weird.
I have a lot.
I mean, I love you.
But it's just from pulling myself out of the water onto a pier.
honestly, I mean, if you were in some sort of accident and I would pull you out of it, I would look at your wounds and treat
But
you.
not with me pulling myself
No,
out of the
'cause-
water. What
no.
if the water was trying to drown me?
But you're not in the water now.
But no, because I saved myself.
Right. So afterwards, like during the crisis, I got you, boo.
I'm gonna show 'em my bruises.
But after it, I'm like, I'm squeamish. I barely can watch horror films.
And I got so you can see some of these.
Oh,
look
gross.
at that. Look at these pretty bruises.
Why do you do
They get
this?
so much better.
Like I have a surgery scar I don't even like looking at, and it's
Really? You don't? You're like, don't look at it.
Oh, no.
You know what? I get that one.
no.
It's hard to look at my surgery scars.
I didn't bandage myself when it. I mean, I did, but it was like I just kind of, it's on my. It was right below my neck, and so on my chest, and so I was like, I know the general area, and I'll just stick the Band-Aid there.
Did you ever hit it? Do you know? Do
Yeah,
you even know?
Yeah, I nailed it every time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. You think you nailed it?
Sure. No one said, "Hey, that looks weird."
Hey, that bandage is not over a wound. Is that supposed to be that way?
Yeah, you did that wrong.
Anyway, so that was my weekend. It was great, though. I had a wonderful time.
Okay, good.
I just ended battered, and
I'm glad you made it though.
yeah, I am too.
I'm glad you. Yeah.
But it was a good weekend. How was your weekend?
Oh, quiet. Wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I
You didn't fight any peers?
did not fight any peers. No. Only thing big I did, I went to the movies. I saw.
Did you forget what you saw?
I
or?
saw Apocalypse Now. You ever heard of it?
Maybe. There's a lot of apocalypse movies.
This one is
feel
not an apocalypse film. It's just
Okay.
called Apocalypse Now.
Like, are they being figurative
Yes.
with their title?
Right.
Okay.
They're being figurative.
Okay. Is it a bromance?
No.
Okay, just curious.
No, not a bromance at all. It's a Vietnam War movie about U.S. government secretly sends out a soldier to go kill another U.S. soldier who has went off the. He's went crazy and he's been doing his own missions across from Vietnam and Cambodia, which you weren't supposed to do, and he's killed a lot of people. And
they're like, oh, we got to take him out, guys.
And so he takes a boat ride with his Navy guys to go up the river to go do the and so it's their little adventure going up the river and going to kill. It's based on a book called Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, but it's written in the 1800s.
I really like when we talk about movies based on books because every time I leave wanting to read the book.
It's a good book. It's it was a movie that people have been trying to make for a very, very long time, including Orson Welles. Orson Welles wanted to do it before he did Citizen Kane. And the way
Is he the one that did it?
Yeah, he well, no, he didn't do Apocalypse Now. Francis Ford Coppola, who did Apocalypse Now, he directed Godfather, Godfather 2 and 3.
Okay.
And a bunch of other films. He won his Oscars for the Godfather films, though. And he made this in the 60s and nearly killed him and Martin Sheen. And there's a great documentary called Heart of Darkness that his wife did with all the footage that she was shooting while they were making this movie, and she brought it. They put it out like 10 years later, 12 years later, whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so you just realize how crazy Coppola was making it. Martin Sheen had a heart attack. Who stars in it? He had a heart attack during the making, so I didn't think he was going to make it.
Can you imagine that?
The best one is Marlon Brando is a huge star, right? Huge star, and Coppola put him in the Godfather movie.
Huge star.
Yeah, Marlon Brando. Okay. He's an actor.
No, I got you so far.
He is the Godfather in the Godfather film.
I haven't seen those.
I know you haven't,
Next.
but and so it's in Guys and Dolls. He's in On the Waterfront, Streetcar Named Desire.
No, have I seen that? Have I read it? Have I seen it?
You probably read it.
I probably read it. So no.
No, so I don't think you know any Marlon Brando films.
No, you're like huge star, and he is.
Right, right. So,
I don't know. Anyway, so he's in it.
People are screaming at you right now on the podcast.
He's the one that had the heart attack.
Yeah. So no. Martin Sheen had the heart attack.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry,
guys.
Martin Sheen's the president on the West Wing.
Yeah. Okay. I knew who he was.
All right,
He's Charlie Sheen's dad.
Charlie Sheen's dad, and Emilio Estevez.
Yeah. That's got to be upsetting.
Because he's actually an Estevez, not a Sheen. He changed his name.
Right.
So, but so Marlon Brando.
Like him.
Marlon Brando is supposed to. I do too. Marlon Brando is supposed to be the villain in this movie. And the villain's this Green Beret built army dude, right?
Right.
Just badass. Brando shows up not knowing his line B, fat, and not read the book and not given a care, and so.
And we're all talking about for
Apocalypse Now,
the one you just saw.
Yeah, right. For the one I just saw, and so what they did was they shot him all in shadow and shot him at different angles, and above his gut, so they couldn't see how fat he was. And so it's beautifully surreal, artistically done, but it's all because Brando showed up overweight and.
That's amazing.
And so, some stuff he would just ad lib and talk about, and they put that in, and other stuff like when he's talking to Martin Sheen, there are literally scenes where Martin Sheen's back is to the audience and he's talking like an over the shoulder shot and stuff, but the lines are on like Martin Sheen's chest.
Oh my gosh. That has got to be upsetting too. To everybody else.
Coppola was furious, but the movie came out. They shot in '76. It took 2 years to almost make and complete, and then they brought it out in '79. Other big controversy was it won the big award at Cannes Film Festival, but it was a work print. It wasn't completed, and people just lost their mind. It's not a finished film. The French because it's a French thing.
Yeah,
the French lost their shit. So that's so. But anyway, so. He came out. It was it was nominated for Oscars. It did. I think it won 1 or 2. Then in 2001, he made a new cut of it. Coppola did, called the Redux or the Redo.
Okay.
I don't know how. I've heard both ways, and it's longer, and that's okay. And they added stuff, and it's interesting, but it's like I don't have to see this anymore.
Yeah.
And so. For the 40th anniversary, they brought it back and did a 4K cut, and they did the they called this the final cut, and it's basically not as long as the Redux, but it's longer than the regular. So it's like in the middle.
Yeah.
It's in the middle. So I liked it. It's long. It's but it was pretty. Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus.
Yeah.
He's in it.
Morpheus
is in it, and it's his first movie, and he's supposed to be playing this 17-year-old kid on the boat. He's a gunner on this little boat, and he lied about his age, so he was 14 when he made it.
That's awesome.
And Dennis Hopper's
well
in
done.
it. And interesting side note I learned about Dennis Hopper on the film. Dennis Hopper is crazy, and you've seen he's been in a lot of stuff, but he's
I don't know names. So
right. I know you don't know names,
so.
and I'm trying to think of things you might have seen him in. But he's anyway. Look it up, and you'll find something. But he was a drug addict, big drug addict, especially during this time. And he got 14-year-old Lawrence Fishburne hooked on heroin during the making of this movie.
Okay.
I learned that this weekend, so fun facts.
All right.
But
cool.
I saw it was a special showing, so they only did a 2-day showing, and I got to see it in Pensacola. So
this isn't because there's something else. It was Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's coming. That's
in
coming.
Mississippi.
And I know it was in Mississippi, but I found out they do it in Gulf Shores, and I'm going to see it in Gulf Shores, much closer.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm going to go see it in Gulf Shores.
And then you'll be so close to that diner.
No, because it's at the Cobb Theater, so
It's just right over the bridge. You
Yeah.
say no, it's like a mile away.
Yeah, but I don't want to go across.
You're like, there's a bridge though, Jestina.
No.
There's a bridge. Technically, there's two.
I mean, if I go on a Sunday, I'll do the diner for breakfast at the beach, and then come back and see the movie.
Hey.
I've thought about it. Don't get me wrong. You can find us on if you're not listening to us on YouTube, you can find us on Mopcast Network. Please subscribe. We're getting a few more subscribers. I'd like to get more of that. You can also join the cult at the Cult Movie Cantina Facebook page. We also have a TeePublic page. You can find that also all on ScottyWhite.com. We're going to be at Horror the Halloween Festival, October 26th and 27th, here at Gamers and Geeks, where we're recording. Gamers and Geeks is our favorite game store. You can go find them at gamersandgeeks.tcplayerpro.com. And they have your Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Warhammer 40K, and a whole lot more. And you can play stuff. So yay! Plugs are done.
You did a great job with that, though. You really powered through.
Thank you. Trying to get better. I think I'm going to split it up and have everyone say stuff.
Just say it really slow and then speed it up in post.
Right.
So it sounds like the radio where it's like... Side effects include.
So last week we saw the NeverEnding Story.
Yes, we did.
And we talked about it.
We did talk about
and
it.
It was fun. We learned that
that
director nearly killed his actor.
Yeah, repeatedly. That poor kid.
One thing we touched on a little bit, we didn't touch on a lot, was the NeverEnding Story song.
I love that song.
Right, everyone does.
Oh, I should have looked it up so I can come back and sing it. I forgot to do that.
I found some fun facts
please.
Today about this song. So the NeverEnding Story song was composed by Giorgio Moroder and lyrics by Keith Forsey. He's also the guy who composed the Oscar-nominated Flashdance song "What a Feeling."
Okay.
Which you probably don't know, but
nope.
Early 80s
I
song.
probably do if I heard it.
Probably. You ever seen Flashdance?
No.
You know what Flashdance is about?
Is it dancing while flashing people?
Sort of. I tried.
Is it like a mob dance, like where everybody just does it?
No, it's that was before mob dancing. I've not seen it in a very, very long time, but from what I tried to tell the story of it when we asked what the story of Whip It was, and then
that's why it came up.
Yeah, then Stephanie ruined it because Stephanie likes to ruin things. And
she
not
did
here.
it so
We can say those
smoothly
things.
too. And she was like, "That's Flashdance," and you're like, "Stop."
And
you could have done it right now,
right?
And I still wouldn't have.
No, but Flashdance is young girls trying to be a dancer in New York, and she's a welder on this, has her day job.
A welder? That's cool.
Yeah, she's a badass welder.
Yeah, she is.
And then but she's a wonderful dancer. And this, it was this weird surprise hit in the early '80s, and so she's in she's famous for being in kind of this yoga leotard wear with the socks, the half socks.
Right.
So that was
the ballet leg warmers.
The leg warmer. That thing that became a hit.
Socks.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the word leg warmer. The leg warmers became a huge thing. It was 1983, no leg warmers. After 83, leg warmers everywhere. And so,
all right.
So this was the age of leg warmers. But
he
wrote
bring those back.
He wrote Flashdance. What a Feeling was an Oscar-nominated song. So, I think it won. I'm not sure. I didn't go further on my research on that. All right. So the song is performed by Lamal, who's British, and he's the lead singer of Kajagoogoo, who was famous for their one hit Too Shy back in the 80s. The backup vocals were by Beth Anderson. She recorded her track in America, and she does not appear in the video. They used someone who was a backup dancer in their Kajagoogoo videos to lip sync her part for the video.
Then they just liked the way she looked more?
Yeah, they didn't want to fly Beth over to...
That's stupid.
So, here's some interesting things.
Yes,
so,
please.
following this, the season's release of Stranger Things on July 4th, interest in the NeverEnding Story surged. Viewership of the original video, how much do you think it increased on YouTube?
Since Stranger Things?
Yes, because of Stranger Things.
Are we talking about percentage, or you want like a legit number?
No, percentage.
Oh, 95%.
800%.
Oh, that's out of 100 people. Out of 100.
No. It went up over that. So, if it went over, for a month, it was 100% of that time. It went 8 times that much.
Okay.
So that's why it was
I'll allow
800%. That's
in retrospect, mine would have been 950% since we were just going over that. So
on Spotify reported 825% increase. Lamal expressed gratitude for Netflix for this. While he had not watched the series, he was told of the song's inclusion by his nephews and watched the clip of the pair singing. So that was cute. It reached number 1 in Japan, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. Number 4 in the UK. And how do you think it did in the US?
What are we talking like on
The
Spotify?
no,
or?
the US. There was no Spotify in '84.
Oh,
So
you're talking about okay.
So
Okay.
the Billboard Top 100, Hot 100,
9.
17.
Okay.
Reached 6th though on the adult contemporary chart.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
With how much it increased since the show, do you think it has more to do with people who are nostalgic and hadn't thought about that? Because life, adulting is hard, right? It's stress, drama. So you don't think about those things until something reminds you, and then you're like, oh, I have to watch that. It's been so long. Or do you think it was more the younger generation that didn't know it and was like, oh, there's a whole movie based around this song?
I think it's a combo of the two.
Yeah.
I mean, Stranger Things definitely brings in that crowd of nostalgia like me, who lived in the 80s, and that's one of the draws for me. I was one of the people, after seeing that scene and watching that episode, I went back and YouTube NeverEnding Story and listened to it because it's been forever since I had heard it.
Yeah.
So I think it's both. I think it's also the younger folks who's never
ever seen or heard of it.
Ever and checking it out. I'm curious about. I mean, we'll never know from Amazon numbers or whatever, but I wonder curious how many people bought it and rented it since Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And so, but it's.
That is an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, I've noticed there's now an increase of covers of it on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just all kinds of stuff people's done, from acoustic covers to heavy metal covers to ukulele covers to a cappella. I mean, it's and it's all and it's all newer stuff because
I don't think any of those covers are ever going to come close though to Dustin and his girlfriend singing it. That was beautiful.
So I looked up some covers for this So outside of the Stranger Things cover from Dustin and his girl, Jimmy Fallon and Stephen Colbert covered it as a Stranger Things promo. So they did it as with
what?
Yeah, Colbert and Jimmy Fallon did it. It was cute.
I need to look that up.
And so I will post all of these on the website. So
okay.
On our show notes, you will see. Cool. You can see the links of that.
Check show notes.
Yes.
Make a note of that.
There's a Japanese version recorded in 2013 by the E-Girls.
Oh, they were ahead of their times.
There's a punk version by Newfound Glory in 2000. There's a Canadian industrial version by a band called the Birthday Massacre, which I think is a great name.
We've actually been... So, Derby Wife introduced me to that band. They're pretty great.
So I had never heard of them. And so
I hadn't either until...
I mean, I know some industrial, but I was like, wow.
We went to Dothan for that game.
And so, that worked out. They released a version of it in 2004.
Look at them.
There's a Swedish melodic power band. Let me try that again. A Swedish melodic power metal band version by Dragonland.
It's a lot of words you just said
Yeah,
right there.
I listened to it too. It wasn't bad. It's very, very fast and real fun. There's a Norwegian synth pop version by Echo Image. And of course, Stephanie showed us what I love, the German Dad version.
Yeah.
Which was cute.
It was cute.
And so we'll share that. So yeah, so that's what I found out about the NeverEnding Story.
Well, how fun is that?
Yeah.
So I found out that Dustin's girlfriend is not the original. Was it
Childlike Empress?
Moonchild's daughter, like I had said that I had heard. So that led nowhere. She actually came from a family like where she was homeschooled, and her mom's like a teacher or something. Obviously, she homeschooled her, but I get like they weren't. She didn't come from a family of people in the business.
Right.
So,
She's the first.
Yeah. So I was like, oh well, never mind.
Right. So, but she was good at it. So.
Yeah, she was. They both sang really well.
Speaking of Moonchild, we had a contest, and we wanted you to, we thought that Moonchild wasn't the greatest name you could give a childlike Empress.
What was her original?
Childlike Empress.
Childlike Empress. Okay.
Yeah.
Childlike Empress.
Yeah, the Childlike Empress.
So when I picture her, because I'm just going to throw mine down, right?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so when you have a name like Childlike Empress, I picture an adult who hasn't quite grown up.
So that's kind of how she's described in the book.
Okay, good. Oh, good.
She's
good.
childlike, but she's not a child.
Yeah, like she was a child in the movie.
Yeah, she is like a straight 8-year-old. In fact, she had lost her 2 front teeth during the production of this movie, and so she has false teeth in her mouth, and so she had to learn to speak all of the crazy lines.
You lose your 2 front teeth at like 6 or 7.
Some people don't lose them until they're 11.
That's crazy.
No, you can. Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy. I'm not saying I don't believe you.
It's not common, but it happened. I think she was 8 or 9 when she lost them.
Well, that's crazy. So anyway, but I picture an adult, like NeverEnding Story adult, where it's like, I refuse to grow up and I'll be here where I can be a kid for forever. Like Robin Williams, that's what I'm picturing.
Or like Peter Pan.
So he can be Peter Pan. He was Peter Pan.
He was Peter Pan.
That's what I'm saying.
And Hook.
The NeverEnding Story, or not.
Neverland.
Yes, that's what I meant. That's what I was thinking of.
I got
Thank you. So many nevers. So that's what I'm picturing. So I don't feel like child should have been in her name. When he gave her Moonchild, like he was being lazy, first of all. Like he was just using the name he already had.
Right.
So I'm gonna go with Quartz Woman.
Quartz Woman.
Woman, yes.
Why quartz?
Because it was the delicacy in the rocks, in the limestone.
But she's not a rock person.
No, but that's what I picked. Because she's a delicacy in their world.
That's okay. I went with Talabrina.
I'm sorry, what?
Talabrina.
I thought you said Calabrina. I was like, are you calibrating something?
No,
What's happening?
Talabrina with the T.
Okay. Were you thinking of Thumbelina?
No, I just thought it sounded royal.
Talabrina.
Talabrina sounds like it's got some gravitas to it.
That's actually a pretty good name.
Right.
I'm proud of you.
For an empress?
I really dislike naming things. That's like one of my least favorite things to do.
So, but
naming
having
kids, naming myself.
Hold up. Having named 3 human beings.
Yo, yeah, that was
How stressful
the worst.
is that? I've never named a human being.
I think I put more stress on it than most people because I have a name, to me, that I always found unique but not off the wall. I went to a school with a lot of students once. I was the only Jestina.
You're the only Jestina I know.
And usually if you find others, if you meet somebody else, it's Justina with a U or it's Justine.
Right.
It's not Jestina very often.
Yeah, I've never met another Jestina with a
So I love my name. And then I had girls. And so to me, it was like I want them to have that experience where they can be different, but they're not Blueberry. Like there's a line. It was
Did you think about
stressful.
naming a kid Blueberry? Do you know a kid named Blueberry?
Isn't it like one of the favorite famous rappers or something? Don't they have a kid named Blueberry? I don't know.
Beyonce and Jay-Z have Blue Ivy.
Close enough. So I did stress about that a lot. I really like the name Melody for Mackenzie, and I got talked out of it mainly because somebody discovered that it was Ariel's daughter's name in The Little Mermaid. And they're like, you're just doing it for that, aren't you? First of all,
you should have said
yes,
yes.
I am. Yes, I am.
You should have owned it.
But I was young when I had her, so it was like, you're going to have to grow up and whatever. So Mackenzie was
like,
decided
this is my
on,
baby.
And then right after.
I'll name her Tonka if I want to.
Right after Mackenzie was like, that's her name. We were in the hospital. There were 2 other Mackenzies on our hall.
Oh, I bet you were mad.
I was pissed.
So I got a question. So
yeah.
You may not know this answer. So you name your child. Is there a grace period? You can be like, no, I want to change it. Or once you say it, are you locked in?
I think once I can say it however many times I want to, but once you put it on their birth certificate and sign the birth certificate, that's a legal document.
You can't be like, hold on, let's just shred that and make another one.
You can, because you can change your name, but I think I'd have to go through the whole process.
I'm like, not while they're still new. It's like
I was trying to explain it to Mackenzie actually the other day about we were talking about names and getting married and what name you would pick and all this stuff. I was like, well, baby, you could keep your name if you wanted. And she, like, her mind was blown. I was like, you could change your whole name. You could, when you go to get married, you don't just have to change your last name. You could go in and become a whole new person. You are legally changing your name. So, like, you could go in and, like, if you're marrying a Smith, just become, like, Joyce Broth Smith. Like, you could change every piece of it if you wanted to.
Right.
So I told her, I was like, if you just don't like something about your name, just change it when you get older. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, she could be 18.
Just go get married when you do it, and then you don't have to pay for it. Not really.
Oh, probably by the time she gets married, they'll figure out a way to charge you.
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, you have to get the marriage license, but it's...
Yeah, so...
Anyway, it was mad stressful to name them. I will say Mackenzie, Chris kind of had Mackenzie lined up as a name, so I spelled it. Because I didn't like the little C.
Right.
And then Josh really liked Penelope when we met. That was a name he had. So by the time that I hit Calliope, which is the third girl, I was tapped out. I was like, I got nothing left. So Calliope is the name that I kind of came up with, and it took months. Months.
Isn't Penelope and Calliope, they're both muses, right?
I believe so, yes.
So it worked out anyway.
It did. It really did. And I love Calliope's name. I'm glad. Because I still had those people that are like, that's a weird name. And people are going to think it's, Calliope? That's how it looks?
Calliope.
I was like, well, it's not Calliope, so just say it right.
Calliope's kind of a cool name, too.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I just shared an intimate detail with you guys. Please don't exploit that. It's Calliope.
We'll see what she says when she's older.
It's Calliope.
She'd be like, Mom, I'm Calliope now.
No, you're not. Oh, don't you dare.
Uncle Scotty says...
Uncle Scotty's going to start coming over and be like, hi, Calliope.
Calliope. I wouldn't do that, baby.
Please don't.
I might do that to that baby.
So I always had a hard time with it. But I don't know if everybody does.
I don't think I've ever named anything outside of my car. And like characters and stuff I've created.
Even thinking about naming my car doesn't have a name.
My car has a name.
I know, but mine doesn't.
I can't. Like, I have a name if I have a child, but I'm like you because I pick things that I like, and so, like how you would have totally done Melody if it was Ariel's daughter.
If I wasn't so young and influenced at the time,
right. See,
she could have been Melody.
I'm obsessed with Rachel Summers. My daughter's going to be named Rachel.
Is it going to be Rachel Summers White?
No, just the first name. I mean,
Rachel's a good name.
Rachel's a great name. I like it. But and I've thought about that since I was like 11.
That's adorable.
And I've not.
We need to get you a cat.
No.
Name the cat Rachel.
I would not waste that on a cat.
Dog? What tickles your fancy right now?
See,
Goldfish?
I wouldn't name.
They die quick, so.
You can
plant you a Rachel tree.
It'd be just like a Rachel tree.
A little bit more sturdy, you know.
Right.
They might outlive you.
Tree's named Rachel. It's my friend. Back to names though. Our winner it was Michael.
Hey, Michael.
And he's the dice liked him because he was. We had some really interesting names, and I've got some of our favorites on here. But Michael actually did an image for it.
Oh yeah.
And he said we should go basic and just named her Brittany with one T. Which is beautifully and southern.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I was like, all right, Brittany.
The little kid run to the window and be like, it's Brittany, bitch.
Brittany. She comes back, she got overalls on.
Yep. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and some chew and just.
Oh, Brittany. Stop it.
Trying to jump in the General Lee. We don't need a
shorts.
dragon. We got this car. Other ones was Reagan said, this is fun, testiculation? Testiculation?
That definitely looks like testicle.
It looked like testicle to me too, and I think that's the joke. But she put a pronunciation, and I forgot to copy paste that, so she's probably giggling.
We're sorry.
Drew said Karen or pickles.
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 That kid be like, pickles, it's what I needed for my sandwich.
And then Jason suggested chlamydia, but I think he's thinking of a doctor rather than a contest.
Oh, okay.
Jason, does it hurt when you pee? But congratulations, Michael. I've already reached out to him, and I know his address, so I can send him a cool Scotty White prize pack that has some neat stuff, including I'm giving away coasters that have our logo and stuff on it. Cult Movie Cantina.
So we can save your furniture.
Yep.
You're welcome.
You're welcome from all the drinks.
Unless you want rings. Then just carry them around for cool points.
But thanks for playing. We have another cool prize contest lined up for next week's movie, so stay tuned. I have a really, and I'll talk about that at the end of the show, but I have really cool stuff. So talk about movie theater etiquette. Can I?
Yes, please. Was this something you experienced
Yes.
when we watched The Lion King?
No.
Or are we talking
no.
about Apollo now?
No. I was if it was me at the Lion King, that was all my fault, and I was inebriated.
Oh, you didn't misbehave. If you're wondering if you stood up and yelled at that baby, no, you did not. But you had comments.
But I wanted to yell at that baby.
You did. So I'm really proud of you
And
for your
so
restraint,
that
because
baby-
Pure Jestina would have had some talking to the baby.
Right.
Pure Jestina would have been like, "Hey, kid, you want to go play in the lobby?"
So I went to another. This wasn't for Apocalypse Now, but so I went to another movie a couple weeks ago, and they had assigned seating, which is the new thing now. You can
Yeah, I've experienced that when I went to Huntsville.
right.
That was the first time,
and I love it. And so I have a specific. Do you have a specific spot in the theater you like to sit?
yes,
Where's for you?
like at the front when you walk up, because it has the bars, and I have to put my feet up.
So
'cause
you
my
like
knees.
like that third row where the bar is, right?
Yeah,
right.
because of my knees. Yeah.
Right, I got you. I like either middle section
Okay.
on either side, but on the right or the far left.
So not like in the middle,
No.
but middle up
Right.
on the side.
You know,
okay.
the bigger theaters have like that. It's like you're not in the main part. You're kind of just on the side.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Typically, there's not a lot of people there, and I like to usually sit against the wall so I can kind of lean, stretch out, and kind of get comfortable there. Right. This was not an option for me at this theater I went to see this movie, and so I like to sit on the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because if people want to get in, I can just get up and let everyone come in and go. I don't
Straddle me, lady.
Right,
Straddle
I don't
me.
like that. I get so uncomfortable.
I don't know which way to go. Like, should I show them my front or should I show them my back?
Right. I'm just like, and it's not my fault, but I'm always. I'm sorry.
breasts
I'm sorry.
or
It's like I'm
booty?
just sitting here and I'm apologizing. So I feel terrible. So I usually sit on the end so I can stand up and let anyone in and out, and not a big deal. So here's what happens. This movie was not packed. There was a lot of open seats.
Did you park in one spot of the parking lot and then everybody parked around you?
No, so I got.
Okay.
But it's assigned seating, right?
I know.
So I got my seat, which was at the very top on the aisle, and then 10 minutes later, this couple came in and they had seats right by me.
That's what I'm saying. Like you park in the middle of a parking lot and there's no one around you.
And they're right
one
by
car.
me. And so here's what I think. The movie's about to start. The theater is not. There's no one else coming.
Okay.
Well, and if there was, there's plenty of room. So do I move or do I stay?
What did you do? Okay, can I guess?
Yes.
I want to say that you stayed.
Yes, I stayed.
And you made it really awkward because they didn't move.
Right.
Okay. Yes, killed it.
Because I enjoyed the movie. It took me a little while to turn them off. They were lovely. They weren't rude. They weren't anything. But it was like, there's a whole theater. Why do you have to sit here?
I wonder if the whole time they were like, "There's two of us. Shouldn't he just move? Because there's only one of
Right.
him."
I don't think they're having the same. I think they're having the same.
Should
time.
we move? We should
Right.
move.
So I don't know what the etiquette is because I feel like if I move, it's I'm projecting that it's because of them, and it is because of them. But they didn't do anything wrong.
You just don't want to be that close to them.
You're right, because and I don't want to be like, ooh, I don't know how to act for that situation, so I just sit there and suffer.
Just stand up and be like, hi, you guys are lovely. I just can't be this close to civilization. I'm going to be moving. It's not you, it's me.
Right. But also, that also makes me look like a jerk and weird. So
he's talking to us.
Right. And so it took me about 10 minutes into the movie till I kind of relaxed about it. But I was like, I had popcorn, and I was like, I don't know if I'm disturbing them. And the dude beside me,
how close were you guys?
We were close.
Like, was there any spots between you?
No.
Like it was you, one person, and another person.
And we had the bigger seats, the kind of like the recliner seats that these fancy theaters have. But it was like, so a recliner seat next to a recliner seat next to, and they were just right by me. But that's where their tickets were. That's where they got their tickets at.
Right.
So they had a right to be there. I'm not saying they didn't, but it was still weird for me. And that's because I'm crazy.
So what I probably would have done, because I don't like confrontation, and the best way for me to handle that is to go, oh, God, I spilled my soda. And kind of clean it up and then be like, oh, and then shuffle over. That way it's like, oh, I have to leave you. It wasn't uncomfortable. I'm sorry. I really enjoyed sitting next to you. I'm sorry, guys. I have to go because of the soda.
I don't know if I could do that.
I was like, are you thinking about it right now? Are you a little upset you didn't do that?
Kind of.
Yeah.
But then I would worry.
Or just move weird and be like, what? This doesn't... There's a bar in the back sticking out. Dang it. I knew I picked the wrong seat.
So you would find a
Yes.
nice ruse to get out.
Yes, I would. That way nobody's hurt, nobody's offended,
Right.
but I get to leave.
So I don't know.
That's exactly what I would do. And I would say it out loud.
Because
normally in your mind, you're just like, oh, the seat sucks. I have to move. I'd be like, this seat sucks.
I'll tell you what, this is how sad it is.
Okay.
I tell you what I'm considering doing now. Just buying 2 seats.
Don't buy 2 seats. Just move.
But
just move,
like,
man.
Like if you and I saw a movie together, it wouldn't bother me at all, you sitting by me.
That would have, now what you were just explaining,
right,
that would have bothered me.
And I'm like, but I don't know these people. And it's like, God, there's a whole row. They could have moved a seat over, both of them, and still had,
tons of room. Yeah.
Tons of room. So I couldn't move over because I was literally on the aisle.
I want to say, though, if I went with another person, if Jennifer and I went and we were sitting right next to you, not you, because if we were sitting next to you, we'd stay. Obviously, Lion King showed us that. But if we were if we were sitting next to one person and then the movie started, I want to say that one of us, whoever was like here, would just probably I'd be like, if she was there, I'd be like, you want to move? It's okay. What's wrong with that seat? There's something stuck. It's okay.
So you would still put the ruse up?
Yeah, I'd be like,
okay.
It's not you. Just the seat's terrible. It's the seat.
Yeah,
weird.
I don't know. I'm weirded out by it.
But they had to pick their seats. So part of me wonders if they looked and they're like, oh, there's someone sitting there. I hate sitting by ourselves. You know how it is. They might need company. Let's sit right by that person.
It could be that. It could have been because you could tell.
But who picks seats right next to another person?
I don't know. I
have another question for you after this. Go ahead.
But it's like, okay, can I do TMI about dudes?
Are we about to talk about urinals?
Yeah.
Oh, that was my question.
Right.
Oh, we're so synced up right now. So I feel like Stephanie and Jared just get between us sometimes. Love y'all.
So there's an unwritten etiquette rule about urinals.
Okay.
Like, all right, so and it's mostly, I would say, deeply rooted in DNA homophobia.
Possibly.
Most likely.
Yeah.
That predatory or if it's not that DNA of dick shaming.
Okay.
So while it's hard to see someone else's junk,
you'd have to actively look, right?
Right, you'd have to actively, because you typically are shielded unless you're at a pee trough, and that's a whole other nightmare.
We're going to talk about that next because I'm so curious. I will say I have never peed in a pee trough. All right.
I have.
I'm going to have to find one.
So the rule, the unwritten rule, the etiquette is that if there's someone at the urinal, if possible, you don't get it in the next one too.
Right.
That part. But if they're, it's packed, you do what you got to do.
You
but
just pick whatever's available. Yeah.
Tip it. And also, for me personally, I won't use the handicap one.
Okay. I will say that's the same as like, our restrooms with the stalls. I tend to use the handicap one because it's bigger and I usually have all my kids.
Right.
But, like if I'm by myself.
Yeah, so
I don't go pick it.
So like handicap urinals are like just tiny. They're like tiny and lower. So kids, it's good for kids and stuff too. So
that's so different from ours because it makes sense. But our handicap stalls are bigger.
Right. Well, we have handicap stalls too.
I know, it's just interesting.
Dudes also sit down occasionally.
Well, right. From time to time. For issues we're not going to discuss.
Right. Not on this podcast.
No, not right now.
But so yeah, there's that etiquette, and of course no one usually head straight to the wall. It's very military. Just look straight ahead. And in my case, I'm just because I'm so I'm just like, oh God, just want to get out of here. Just want to do this. Just hurry up. And I'm like the fastest wizard.
And then you're out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And so.
Are you worried about them judging you, like how many times
No,
you
I'm
shake
just crazy.
it, or
No.
I would think about all that. Like,
I'd say, don't
man,
even
I
put that
didn't
in my
shake
brain.
it hard enough the second time.
Oh,
I have
now
to
you're
shake it
thinking,
again.
I never even thought about that. Now you ruined my anxiety. Oh.
I have so many questions.
All right. Okay. But shaking is important.
But I feel like there's a certain number, and then it's no longer important. It's pleasure.
That's what they tell you. But for me, it's not that pleasurable to just shake it.
The kind of person that I am, I feel like if I was a man, I would have to like get a small piece of toilet paper and dab it. I don't know if I could just shake it and be done.
No.
I don't think I could.
You could shake it.
I don't like. What if I get pee on myself?
First of all, if you're a dude, typically don't really care.
Well,
I know a lot of dudes is like whatever.
That is unsettling.
Well, dudes are harder to potty train.
You guys all have like pee crotch.
So it's like whatever.
Whatever. You got in the urinal. That's all that matters.
We got most of it out.
Those are drips. Those don't matter.
Right.
Those are God's drips.
Right. They don't count.
Anyway, so I do that with the stalls though. If there's someone in the first stall, I won't go in the one next to him. I'll go in the.
Right.
I'll even it out.
Right.
I don't like to be right next to someone because then I feel like they can hear me start to pee, and I don't want them to listen to me pee. Or like, what if I have a lot of pee and they're like, "Geez, that girl's peeing a lot."
That stuff bothers me too. So
it does. Or like, what if it's just a little bit and they're like, "Why are they wasting their time in the bathroom?" I thought it was more. Like, I'm also surprised.
It felt like a lot.
Yeah, I know. Like it was heavy. It was heavy inside. It's just me. I just gained weight. I don't know. I'm sorry.
That's weird.
I think about a lot of that. So
you question the pee trough?
It's more just tell me about it. I don't really have questions. I mean, I have questions, but they're
you
more
ever
like
heard of the pee trough?
Like, do you guys touch hip to hip? Like, how do you guys determine the spots? I hate when you go to a parking lot and it's just gravel everywhere. Like, what if somebody parks
like
weird?
that.
I can't handle it.
It's kind of like that.
I need some order. I need some. Do you guys have lines on the inside like a pool?
No.
Like an Olympic pool, so you know where you're supposed to stand?
No, not on the pee trough. No, the pee trough literally is like a basin, a giant basin, and
I would like to just go take a knife and just put notches along the side so that there's lines. So there's some sort of order to the chaos.
It's got on outside of what's supposed to be running in there. There's
it's supposed to be.
There's some
running. Water? You guys pee into a waterfall?
And that's not a waterfall. It's like it's coming from the bottom and runs. It's very little. It basically helps the pee get into the drain. It's not a lot to it.
Okay.
And there's always ice in there for some damn reason. Every time I went to the pee trough, there's ice in there. Like,
okay, have you always gone to the pee trough at bars?
Well, no, I haven't had like stadiums used to have them.
You think people are spilling their drinks?
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Their drinks. No one's like, I'm drinking the pee. They're not doing that.
No, like they're like
it's the internet. There's probably someone doing that.
Beer or something. Not beer because you don't put ice in beer. And then they're like, oh, that's okay. I'll get another one.
Right. Yeah. So I think people are just dumping their cups in there because it's a drain.
Lazy. Men are the worst.
We are terrible. But
you guys are awful.
But yeah, so the pee trough. And
never experienced ice in a toilet.
The
by the way, men.
Pee troughs have no barriers or anything, so you're just out willy nilly.
So, but how do if it's crowded, do you guys go in sideways?
No, you just go in.
Like at an angle?
No.
Hope for the best?
No.
Because if you shoot it. Sometimes it's be so bad you're like, I'm just gonna shoot over you, it's fine. It's
no, that never happens. No. I mean, certain places on the internet, once again, that probably happens all the time, but not in the pee trough. I'm
disappointed in all of the people who use pee troughs right now because there are so many creative ways that you guys can make that work. If I had an ability to just angle my pee in any way I wanted to, the world is my oyster. I have no idea. I would do so much. Part of it would be to pee in the pee trough from away from the pee trough.
depending on how much you have to go, you don't really get that kind of arc. It's
okay.
There's some physics
Okay.
involved.
Okay.
I mean, you have to be high and you have to have a lot of it.
Oh, I'm not very tall, so that's a problem.
Right. And plus, where it's located, it's lower than you're tall. I mean,
I'll let it go for now.
Bend back.
I'm gonna do
try to
some
get the
research.
trigonometry to get the arc of the.
But do you guys touch hip to hip?
I
have you gotten in there where you have to like? Oh,
I have been that. The last time I did the Petroff was in New Orleans at, I want to say, the Superdome before Katrina. I think that's the last time they had Petroffs.
Interesting.
And then first of all, I walked in with horrified, because I'm always horrified when I'm seeing the Petroff. I'm like, can I hold it? No.
I wonder if they made one for women. Okay, now follow me. Okay. But it's like a round. Is the Petroff round, or is it just a thing on the wall?
It's a thing on the wall.
So this is round, like the water fountains in Harry Potter.
Right.
He makes a presence in every one of these.
Yes.
So it's round, but they have like built-in little toilet seats like around the outside, and so you just come in, but you sit backwards and you sit down and pee. I wonder if women would use that.
I mean, it's kind of how it is in the military, right? I know for dudes it is. I don't know how.
No, I
women.
think they just don't have doors. But like I'm saying, like it's a trough
I know
in the same sense of it's literally all connected like a fountain.
Right.
But it has like little pretend seats on it, and you sit down and everybody's pee goes in together.
Yeah, I'm horrified by that.
Do you
thought.
think women would use it?
I don't know. I'm not a woman. What do you think?
I have no idea. I guess if I had to pee bad enough, maybe. If it's somewhere where I've been drinking a lot, yes, 100% I would use that.
Right, because
I will be inebriated and will not care.
Liquid courage.
I mean, yeah, I'm a badass when I'm drinking.
Right, well, you're a badass by that.
Oh no, it's more, it's more so. Anyway, so I was just curious.
Okay,
that just made me think of that. Because they make men just kind of like animals.
Because we are.
We expect more of them than to be animals, and then we treat them like animals.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Equality, man.
So are we good talking about pee? Is there any other pee question?
Do you want to switch to number 2?
Oh, God, no.
Okay,
no.
I think we're done with bathroom talk.
And never on this podcast. There's a few forbidden
but
topics.
on another podcast.
You can start your own poo cast.
Oh, you said it. I didn't even say it.
So I wanted to talk about. So there are a few things being remade as movie. They do movie remakes.
Right.
And then now they're doing series remakes or reimagining or revisiting, like Watchmen. They've done 4 Weddings and a Funeral most recently, and as a series, and they've done other things as a series. There was something else I just read that's coming up as a series. So I was wondering, what do you think are sacred cows that should never be made into a series? Harry Potter, they're working on trying to make it a series for HBO. I think they were for a while.
When they do Harry Potter, are they going to do the original Harry Potter books, or are they going to do Harry Potter World?
I don't know. There was talk about HBO doing Harry Potter, but this was years ago. But now they're doing his Dark Materials, so I'm not sure if that conversation is still happening. Because I think what they're doing with it right now,
yeah, they could do that all day long. That wouldn't bother me. Like the whole Fantastic Beasts, that whole thing where they can explore the world for days.
But I'm saying as a remake, they look at
they better not remake it.
7 movies and let's
Harry
remake
Potter,
new ones.
They had such a good cast. It would be really hard for them to do that and not butcher it. I personally think.
But a series could get you everything that
everyone's complaining is missing.
Was missing.
True. But I think the only way that would be something that wouldn't piss people off is if they are able to, without a doubt, commit to the whole series.
Well, in Harry Potter's case, I think J.K. would be very much involved.
Oh yeah.
So I feel safer about a Harry Potter series.
I agree. It would still be hard. It would be hard to watch.
I don't think it's going to be a sacred. I think Warner Brothers has the distribution rights and the film rights to it.
Okay.
And
but they don't have if it's film right, I could be mistaken. Does that still count for TV show?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'd have to go through them to do a TV show, and so they've got the new streaming service for HBO Max or whatever, and so that may. I mean, if they need a series for that, that's a good series to go with, a good thing to launch. I mean,
Yeah.
Amazon's trying to relaunch their streaming service. They're doing Tolkien. They're doing like a prequel to Lord of the Rings as a series, or they may be doing Lord of the Rings as a series. I hear both counts of that.
I see. I'm wondering if.
And then of course Disney's got all the like Star Wars with the Mandalorian and doing all the Marvel stuff.
With that in mind, I feel like the Marvel stuff has been doing really well with all of the way that they remade it, and it's meshed really well. It's intermixed.
Yeah,
they did well with that.
Marvel has figured out how to make a world.
Yes, so that they all have their own stories, but they all can overlap and different. Yeah, they did a good job with that. I think that is a good argument for them to do something like Harry Potter, because they have shown that they can do it. The thing that I'm curious about is how much backlash they got with the play, which is a play,
right?
And like, I understand that that's different, and a lot of people didn't really comprehend that they're reading a script,
right? But so they got quote unquote backlash, but it's still making a ton of money.
Oh yeah, because you still want to see it because it's Harry Potter,
right? It's the same thing like with Star Wars Land, the Galaxy's Edge. It's not doing well, but it's because everyone did like me. Well, I will wait till the crowds die down, and all the crowds waited to die down. But I'm still going. They still got my money, and I know it's not very big, and I know pretty much all you can do in there, and I'm still like, you still got my money, because I'm for a couple hours I get to quote unquote be in Star Wars for a minute. So so you've got my money alone on that. But I think a lot of people stayed away from it because they were like me. I can wait on the crowds. Also, it's in California, and a lot of people, don't want to fly.
Yeah.
I think Orlando will do better at the end of the month. We'll see how, because it opens next week.
Interesting.
So, and I'm thinking about going in October. We'll see. I'm trying to talk myself into it. I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights. I've talked myself into that.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
my October's so busy. I need a job first.
You're right.
And then spend all of my money.
I just want to. I'm going like on a weekday to do it. So
I might try to plan to go next year.
So it doesn't cost me a lot. But yeah. But anyway, back to the question.
Yes.
Do you think there's anything that are
that
sacred,
was the original question.
Yeah, the sacred cows that movies are that they have made they should never remake? Okay. And this came up. I read an article about wondering if it's time to remake It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, I think. Well, that's not true. So when I think about something like that, I go back further than like the 80s. And I mean, I go further than...
I don't know why I laughed at that, but I found that funny.
But I
go back further than the 80s.
Well, because I got...
That's me. That's me just being a jerk. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
You're good. I don't know movies past that, guys. That's it. But like if they started redoing all of the Charlie Chaplin films, for example...
Right.
I think I would have a hard time with that.
I don't think they would translate well in today's
world. I don't think they would either, because I love Charlie Chaplin, and that could go into a whole deep
Did not know you
conversation.
were a Chaplin fan.
Yeah, I love Charlie Chaplin. But
what about the others like Buster Keaton and
I like them too. I think all of those would be hard. So I mean, I guess mine I'm going through like the talkies and silent films, so that might be too far back because
you ever seen Singing in the Rain? Mm-mm. I recommend it.
I have seen a scene or two from it.
I recommend it. I recommend it because it's a movie about that gap between silence and talkies.
Yeah.
And that's what the movie's about. They're making this movie and it's a silent movie, and then they realize they can do a talkie and it's a musical, and the lead actor and the lead actress, they can't sing because they're silent movie stars. They haven't had to sing. They don't have to sing now, and so they get people to sing for it. It's so good. The music alone's fantastic.
That might be why.
But seriously, I highly recommend everyone out there. If you're not seeing Singing in the Rain, see Singing in the Rain. It's fantastic.
Okay.
And the music's really, really good, and the dancing is amazing.
I can't remember.
And I'm not like a dancey musical guy for movie wise,
but it's good.
Yeah, it's up there.
I loved that era of when I was in film school. The transition from silent to the talkies. Like I loved that stuff, and I loved the silent film era. But there was an actress, I can't remember her name because I'm terrible at names. There was a whole thing about how she was. Oh no, it wasn't her. It was Buster Keaton, and it was like it's somebody like that where they did so good, and then sound came out and it destroyed them because they didn't sound good.
Yeah,
was it Buster Keaton?
It was Keaton, and I think Harold Lloyd had the problems too.
Which is also an interesting thing to not have to think about.
Chaplin kind of struggled too. I mean, he didn't.
Oh yeah, they all did.
They all did because it's
Yeah.
it's how to deal with that work that just sound. A lot of people didn't think you should have sound on film. There's a whole
he didn't.
Yeah.
Like his, which I always found fascinating was his whole mindset of you're not going to come out to see a ballet and have the dancer go, I'm going to do these, and this, and then do it, which is his mindset of going to talkie. Like,
Right.
he was like, you don't come out and just announce what you're going to do. You do it. But at the same time, like, I always thought it was fascinating that he would use all these, like, just musical pieces.
It's funny because that's kind of it's almost a hard rule. I don't know, a medium rule in film. I mean, when I was in film school, it was always, show, don't tell.
Yeah. Don't say something that you can show.
Show,
exactly.
right, show, don't tell. And so.
Right. I agree. I always loved that, but I also always thought it was interesting that he would say like that would be his mindset, but then he spent so much time on the music to his films, but that is also telling. Like, you can communicate in many different ways than just words.
You might like Benny and June as well if you've not seen it.
I have not.
So Johnny Depp and...
I saw it as a play, though. I saw it at the Globe Theater in San Diego.
Oh, cool.
And it was one of my favorite plays
I've
ever seen.
Yeah, it's just out on Broadway now. So I guess
it was amazing.
So the movie's really good too.
I'll have to watch it. And it has Robert Downey Jr., right?
Johnny Depp.
Oh, yeah, him. That's what it was.
Robert
it was
Downey
one of them.
Robert Downey Jr. was in Chaplin.
He did do Chaplin. I loved that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Anyway, that's like my area.
That's cool.
That's the stuff I really like. Mm-hmm.
So
I think I would riot if they started to butcher his stuff.
So
Straight riot.
What if
like
you did like
at the theater?
See, I don't think you could. I'm with you. I don't think you could do.
They don't have the same impact because
Right.
people now I think would be bored.
Also, I don't think people can sit through a silent movie.
There's too much work into
trying to sit through a Terrence Malick film. They're mostly
silent films.
They're mostly silent, and it's just like I don't care. That's just my mindset. I mean, they're pretty to look at, but
you know what else I think is interesting? And maybe I just I don't watch movies, obviously, but it felt like before when we weren't so technologically advanced that people tried more and they strove to do more. For example, like with silent films, like you had to find ways to communicate without talking, and that was something that they did. But then there's also I have it. I want to say it's The Apartment, but that might not be it. But it's the entire film is shot with one single continuous shot.
right.
And it's so interesting to watch those. But and again, I could just be because I'm ignorant and that's all. But I don't ever see movies as often anymore that do it for challenges, like that have to overcome challenging things.
So, I just dogged him, and I'll so there's Terrence Malick, who is, I think he's a this is hard for me to put. I think he's a fantastic filmmaker. I don't like his movies.
Interesting. Okay, what is he? Okay, first of all, I feel like I need to make notes.
Right now, Terrence Malick. I recommend Days of Heaven. I think that's his best. Tree of Life is weird, but it's beautifully stunning to look at. His shot choices and what he's trying to convey is gorgeous.
Okay.
Always very sweeping, very just epic in scope. But when it comes down to things that I like movies for, story and characters, he lacks.
Interesting.
Because he's more about subtext and what you think instead of being. And I'm so used to I want a story. I come in and see a story. And
see, I go in with like the subtext.
Right.
I want that to tell the story.
Right.
I like when that tells the story.
But it still has to tell a story.
Yeah, definitely. If you don't have a story, you don't have a film.
See, Tree of Life, I don't think has a story, and I've read like synopsises on this, how brilliant it is. I'm like, yeah, but in the
I'm
end,
gonna watch it, and then we're gonna go back and talk about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, watch Tree of Life. It's got Brad Pitt, and
we can do it like during the next meeting or something. But I can tell you if I thought I saw a story.
Right.
Oh, have fun.
Melancholia, you'd probably like.
Is that a person?
No, it's a movie. I can't think of the guy's director's name right now. He did Antichrist.
What did you say? What was it?
Melancholia. So so in 2000, it's like Melancholy, but it's Melancholia, and it's got Kirsten Dunst in it.
Yeah.
So there were two movies that year. I think that's 2011. There were two movies that came out that year about another planet colliding into the Earth.
Okay.
Or coming like they had found another planet, like another Earth. And Melancholia is about one that's colliding into the planet. The other one, which I think is superior, is called Another Earth.
Okay.
And they're fun to watch together because they're similar films. Melancholia had this beautiful, epic budget, and it's got like, beautiful costume. The mise en scene in it is fantastic. Sets are great. The costumes are wonderful. And then Another Earth is really done on a shoestring budget, but it's a superior film. And
I feel like that usually happens.
And so because I like the story to it. The story is about the night they discover this thing in the sky that ends up being another version of this planet Earth that's coming toward us.
Spent all the time looking for it, and there it is coming right at us.
Well, it kind of just appeared, and so but everyone could kind of see it in the sky at first, and so this young girl's listening on the radio, hearing it, and she's sticking her head out the window to look at it, and I think she had been drinking too, and she crashes her car into a family, kills the family, and serves prison time for. She was drinking because she served prison time for it, and then after prison, she tries to reconnect with the husband of the family. And they do, but she doesn't tell who she is.
That she killed the family.
Yeah, right. So she
that's
goes
deep.
So she serves as his housekeeper mainly for. He tries to pay her. I think she takes a little bit of money, but it's her way of atoning in her mind.
Yeah.
That's the A story. The B story is this planet that's coming to us, and it turns out to be Earth. And it's not just Earth; it's literally another copy of us. They send signals out to it, and signals will come back, and it's the same people talking to each other.
Oh, that's weird. Like a shadow.
Right, so they're thinking about they want to send a ship to the spaceship to this other Earth, and she writes. And it's a contest. You can to get on the ship, and so she writes this letter about what she'd done, and she says that in the old days when people wanted to come to the new world, they didn't send their best and brightest. They sent criminals, which was true. I'm a criminal. This is what I've done, and so this is why and so they pick her to go. And it's so good.
Does she go find the Copy family and bring them back to him?
Don't tell me. No spoilers. No
Thank
spoilers. It has.
I'm really good at guessing.
It has one of my favorite endings in all of cinema history.
Another Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
Melancholia is good too, but it's like it's deep and surreal. It's very surreal. All his films are surreal. So
okay.
I'll
look him up. Yeah. Thank you. Anyway, so
no, I was just thinking about Sacred Cows again, and we just got on another tangent.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very good at thinking about those kind of things. But I do think that generation would be hard to translate.
I will also post trailers to these movies in
the
show notes, so you can actually see where they are. So everyone else can come along and join us on that. Sacred Cows. I don't think you can. Nor should you ever. I don't think you should remake Gone with the Wind. It's problematic now. It's it's problematic anyway. But problematic as it is, I still love it.
Yeah,
I love that movie, and I think I always will love it. And I've tried to look at it like I'm woke, and I'm like, still love that movie. I understand that.
But as long I feel like it's still history. Like it was a different time,
right?
And we are growing and adapting as people,
right?
So as long as you recognize,
right.
Watch it, but be aware.
Because I'm having real problems with some of that stuff, trying to figure out how I accept and watch things. It's like I'm soft on Gone with the Wind because I love it. I'm very hard on Roman Polanski for his crimes, so I don't watch Roman Polanski films. Yeah, the guy who made Jeepers Creepers and Powder and all that is a pedophile. He's a registered sex offender. I don't watch his films either.
So
I'm a staunch on that.
So when Baby Driver came out,
right?
What's His Nuts is in that.
There's lots of What's His Nuts in it.
He just got in trouble, like in his movie.
Spacey.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that like all happened about the same time.
Right.
And I saw Baby Driver, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Right.
It's a good movie.
Right.
And I had a hard time with that too.
Right.
Because I don't support. But at the same time, I was like, all these other people were involved. And even though he's terrible, and I don't agree with that.
It's an interesting line that we live in right now. The same way I feel like I won't watch Spacey stuff anymore. Most of Spacey stuff. And I hate to say most because I love The Big Kahuna. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and he's in it. And he's brilliant in it. And so for me personally, and this is a personal decision for everybody, because you can't tell me what to like and not to like anyway, and then how to deal with this anyway. But the question comes down to, how do I reconcile or separate the work from the man?
Was it you that we just recently talked about this with Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
because that was the thing with me where it's like I don't agree with how Chick-fil-A believes, but if like I were to walk in there and they treated me different because of it, I would have a problem.
Right.
But if they're going to treat me like a human, then I feel like it's fine. It's once, like, I don't know, like they act on it, I guess.
It's
now
weird.
that I've said that, I was like, I don't agree with that either.
Right.
Like,
it's a tough thing. I watched, moving on to the next topic, I watched Mindhunter Season 2 this weekend. Have you seen Mindhunter yet?
Mm-mm.
It's really good. It's a serial killer's thing. It's about FBI profilers.
I think so.
It's
I think a good friend of mine watches that.
and it's on
No, Without a Trace.
That's
the one that she
It's
watches.
only 2 seasons on Netflix, and it's done by the guy who did Zodiac, David Fincher did it, and it's brilliant. And so this season's mostly about the Atlanta child murders that happened in the early 80s. And I didn't know as much about it. But here's what I brought up. The reason why I bring it up. First of all, if you've not seen Mindhunter, everyone should see Mindhunter. But because of me, I binged it, like it's 9 episodes, and I binged it quick, like in 2 days. And like 9 hours in 2 days. I'm sad. I have no life.
No, that's what binging is.
And so,
Everybody does it.
But I got really interested in the Atlanta child murders, and so I was like, oh, I love podcasts. I make one. I'll see if there's a podcast on it, because there's a ton of true crime podcasts out there. And I did, and I found it, and so it's an okay podcast. It's a deep dive in talking about the victims' families and friends of those victims and what happened. Here's my problem.
Okay.
I understand that a podcast has ads. When we did ads at the beginning of our show, and ads help pay for the show. I'm totally okay with that. But here's my issue. So you're like, and then they found the head inside a duffel bag. You know what else is comfortable? Casper mattresses.
Seriously?
Seriously, the segues are so terrible at it. It's
you know what else is comfortable?
It's like it's not. I'm not quoting word for word, but it seems like it was like, you know what else is comfortable? Casper mattresses. You can get your own Casper mattresses.
Oh my gosh!
Podcast/murder, and it's like.
Like you're involved, like you're ingrained in it.
It's like
and you're like,
appropriate.
what?
It's like also, it's like, and he hacked his wife to death.
Like the Truman Show and
Right,
with the Ovaltine.
It's like, and he hacked his wife to death. If you like hatchets, you can go down to Ace Hardware. I mean, it was just. I mean, it's like that. I mean, it was. So, I don't know. He ate his liver with some fava beans, but now you can go to Blue Apron and get. I mean, that's how I felt listening to this, because the commercial breaks were so awkward.
You just made those so well so quickly.
And just popped in my head. But I listened to those and just how awkward and weird they were, and I'm just like, we're in a really deep. I understand you got ads, you got to have ads, but it's like,
I wonder why they would do that though, because I feel like you would you would get your audience, right? You would captivate them, and you would get them really involved in the story, and then shake them out of it. Why would you want to do that?
I know, he was a sexual sadist. And men, are you dealing with ED? You can take these little purple. I mean, it's just like. It was just like that. I don't know. It was weird. I just wanted to bring that up. It just bothered me. So our next week's movie, we're plugging along. Our next week we're going to look at half a movie, technically. This time around, the first half of a movie.
Okay. Yep.
And so, we're going to look at the 1990 version of It, but we're only doing the first day of the miniseries, the first one when they're all kids.
Wait. Okay. So now I'm confused.
Right.
Oh, I see what you're saying. We're gonna watch the old It.
Yeah, the old It.
Okay. Yeah.
And the old It was a miniseries, and it went over 2 nights, I think.
But we're just the first part of the miniseries.
We're only watching the first night of it, first part of it when they were all kids. So basically, It Chapter 1, the original version. And the reason why we're watching that is because It Chapter 2 comes out September 6th, and so we're looking forward to It Chapter 2. I would play a trailer for you, but I can't play a trailer for you because the TV trailer has no real audio. I mean, there's a little bit of music, but I will post.
Speaking of silent films,
Right, it's kind of a silent kind of thing, and I can't really find a trailer that goes along with it. So we will. I will post a trailer in the show notes. I also would have played the. I kind of want to play this one. I'm just trying to figure out how to reword it. I'll do it this way. You've never read it, right?
Actually,
Did you?
I read a lot of Stephen King.
Right. Do you remember reading it?
If I did, I was younger, but I own it.
Right. So I can't ask you what do you think it's about because you've seen the chapter 1, right?
The new one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Right.
have.
So it's similar.
Yeah.
So what do you think the 1990 version's different?
Oh, for just the first part or
For
for
the
the
first
whole
part.
thing?
Yeah, for the first part. What do you think is different about it? And we'll see if you're right next week.
Okay. So with it having been separated, there's more involved. And I want to say that maybe perhaps in the first one, the clown doesn't change. Because in the new one, the clown, it changed to what they're scared of. Correct? But the clown was
He was always a clown.
the constant? I thought he I thought they
was
saw
always a
him
clown.
as...
Pennywise is the dancing clown. He's always the
I
clown.
thought he was like a Bogart.
A Bogart?
Like in Harry Potter. I thought he was like a Bogart.
What's
He
a
changed-
Bogart?
Okay, a Bogart.
Thank you. I don't know what a Bogart is. I'm learning something.
I feel like we witnessed this. Okay, in Harry Potter #3 that we watched.
Mhm.
Okay, Prisoner of Azkaban. There's a
Oh,
whole
the Shawshank
scene
Redemption one, yeah.
there where there's like a suitcase and a monster's. It was like
Oh,
a
yeah,
cupboard,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
monster's coming
Right,
out.
right,
and
right.
It changes each time.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
that's called a Bogart.
Okay. I
So
remember.
for some reason, I felt like it was like a Bogart. Like it was whatever you're scared of.
No, it's a clown.
Is it always a clown, or is it just bringing what you're scared
No,
of?
it's a clown.
It's always a clown.
Yeah, it's a clown.
Always.
It's a clown.
Oh, then I don't know. I'm out. Maybe in the original one it changes.
And so he also, I mean, he will affect things that you're scared of. Like in the new one, he was the old woman in the painting for Stanley.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of. But it was always him.
Yeah, but he's always a clown.
But
Yeah, the clown's always
gotcha,
there.
Gotcha.
The
So
clown,
he's more like
everyone saw that.
Peeves.
Like even what's the kid's name who broke his arm?
literally no idea. The
Yeah.
one taking all the pills?
Yeah, the one. He sees the diseased hobo guy, but in the end, he also sees Pennywise. So
There's a fly. Sorry, I was getting attacked by a
the
fly.
fly, yeah, Brundlefly was around here.
Maybe
You're in deep
maybe
thought.
he does more to the whole child population instead of just triggering these kids.
All right, we'll find out next
Okay,
week.
well, I'm gonna go with that.
I'll have a new prize pack too for us. I haven't figured out what I'm going to the contest yet, but we'll figure out
For it?
For it. But I
Okay.
do. I will say this. I've gotten my hands on a Pennywise Funko Pop from the 1990 movie, which is a little harder to get. And I managed to grab one,
We'll do anything for you, cultists.
and I'm giving it away next week. So
Give it away, give it away,
So
give it away.
you look
now.
forward to that. Well, that's it for me. Justine, anything else for you? Anything you
Nope.
want to add?
No, I'm good.
Well, on that note, we will end with this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Mobcast Network.